Hello again and welcome to the Warhammer 40K Know Thy Foe video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the dogs of the Emperor, the Space Wolves. Now the Space Wolf Codex dropped about a month and a half ago and it was pretty good. A lot of people considered it to be a solid mid-tier codex. And at the time I agreed, and I played a couple of games against some Space Wolves and I didn't think that it was anything to write home about, and my guard were able to deal with them relatively easily. However, I am quite fortunate as there is a regular Space Wolf player down at the club, and he has been distilling his Space Wolf list, and he has come up with quite an effective Space Wolf list, which I personally think is tournament competitive. He has taken this to tournaments and he's done quite well with it, from what I understand. And very interestingly, I've played his army 3 times now. The first 2 times didn't have any issues. Now he's gone away, really studied the ancient text, come back with his Death Star, and we had a game on Tuesday, and it ended in a draw, and it was close. Both sides were bloodied and beaten. I'd pretty much lost all my Leman Russes. My Sentinels were mostly damaged. My Chimeras were either damaged or destroyed, and all I really had was my infantry left. And he still had, again, a lot of his units as well. So it was a really, we'd really battered the crap out of each other. I basically had my infantry, and so did he, essentially. Now, what is this list that he's come up with? Now, he's still in the process of distilling it, so I am sure that there will be people on here that will know some improvements straight away. But this is where he's up to with it, and the basic principles of this list, I think, are what the Usgard players should be aware of if you come across this in a tournament. Because if you do come across it in a tournament, it's important to know how to beat it. Okay? Now, what he had is a Land Raider Crusader full of Wulfen and a Wolf Chaplain. I don't know what the official name is. And the Wulfen all had Storm Shield and Thunderhammer, apart from the leader, which had claws. And then he had 2 Rhinos, and in those Rhinos he had 4 squads of 5 Grey Hunters, and they all had lots of plasma and a power axe. And then he had 2 Razorbacks, and each Razorback had a squad of Long Fangs in it. Okay, and the Long Fangs had plasma and las cannons. Now, what my opponent did, and then he had supporting characters. Now, he had, like I said, a chaplain for his Wulfen, but he also had Bjorn the Fell-Handed, and he had him as his Warlord, and he had him with the Warlord trait that makes his auras an additional 3 inches. But because Bjorn the Fell-Handed is a Dreadnought, and he's less than 10 wounds, so you can't target him, but he's on a massive fucking base, it actually extends the aura of, and he gives the same bonuses that a captain would do or wants to hit. He actually basically has something like a 10-inch aura or 12-inch aura with Bjorn the Fell-Handed. It's actually a really clever tactic to put it on such a model, such a big base. So that's incredible. And then he also had a Wolfguard Battle Leader, which is like a lieutenant, and he had a Rune Priest, and I think it's Najal the Stormcaller. He's nicknamed him affectionately Nigel. So he's got Nigel the Rune Priest. Now, which is essentially a librarian. Now, what does he do with this army? Why is it so effective? Because it just sounds like Marines and Rhinos and a death, the equivalent of Terminators in a Land Raider Crusader. Nothing that guard can't handle. Well, let me tell you, Space Wolves can do a few things that regular Marines can't. Okay. So the first thing is that he deploys his characters in the centre, and then he has all his vehicles surround them in a castle. Nothing strange there. And what he did is, in his first turn, he moved everything forward and advanced pretty much everything, because it's a guard gun line, so he knew he could do this. And he took a really good commanding view of the battlefield straight in the centre, so he could go for any objectives he wanted. He had board control, and I thought, okay, brave, because now he's just got into like really close range of all my guns, and I'm just going to destroy him in one turn. I thought, oh, he's not learned anything, but he had. You see, he had a psychic power which he cast called Stormcaller, And what it does is, until the start of your next target phase, targets gain the benefit of being in cover. Okay, it affects everyone within 6 inches. Okay. So, suddenly, he doesn't need to worry about being in... If he goes second, he has prepared defences. Okay, so he has cover turn 1. If he goes first, he also has cover, but he can do this every turn. Okay? And it's not even his strongest power. He can chuck out loads of other stuff and then casually at the end just go, oh, I've sucked out all your denies. Here comes Stormcaller. Everything's in cover. So suddenly all his Razorbacks, all his Rhinos on a 2-up save, and his Land Raider Crusaders on a 1-up save. Crazy. If he successfully casts a single psychic power, he can then play a stratagem. Now, it does cost 3 points. Okay? But it is called Cloaked by the Storm. And in the psychic phase, when a Rune Priest manifests a power, it imposes a -1 to hit penalty for all ranged attacks made against Space Wolf units within 6 inches. So think about that. Suddenly, you've got a load of vehicles which are all +1 save, all -1 to hit. Fantastic. But then here comes a really good icing on the cake. Okay. He advanced all his vehicles, so he wasn't going to get any shooting. So do you know what he did? He popped smoke on every single one of those vehicles. Which means suddenly he has, and I think about how powerful this is against a lot of shooting armies, and think about how prevalent shooting armies are in 8th edition. He had an absolutely pretty much unshootable armoured fist. -2 to hit, +1 to its save in cover. That's absolutely insane. All my Leman Russes hitting on 6s. Now he can only do that for 1 turn, but that's why he advanced forward. Next turn, he simply got his Wulfen out, because Wulfen, this was a really good thing, and I think if you could do this with 2 Land Raider Crusaders all full of Wulfen. Oh, powerful. Because what he did, his Wulfen could get out something like 8 inches, plus 3 inches from the Land Raider. So that's 11 inches. Plus they can advance. So that's an average 14 inches they can jump out of a vehicle. And they can charge after advancing. And they've got the fly keyword. So in the movement phase, they can jump over any screens that you've got. Any screening. So, I mean, obviously, if you've got 2 lines of screening, you should be okay. But what my opponent did, which was quite clever, is he did that turn 2, and then guess what? He put all his shots into clearing away everything he had. Land Raider Crusaders, he had all his infantry pile out. Land Raider Crusaders, all his infantry piled out, and he cleared away my screens, and he charged like 3 Leman Russes in 1 turn, and he destroyed 2 Leman Russes with Wulfen. Now, that's pretty, slightly poor. He charged 2 Leman Russes, because I had my Leman Russes split into two pairs. So he charged 2 Leman Russes, and he destroyed both the ones that he charged, because he just did it. It's like it's a lot of Thunderhammers, So that was really, really powerful. And again, in his turn, he did the same thing again. He cast a Psychic Power. He got the -1 to hit bubble off. And again, he used 3 command points to give everyone. So whilst his Wulfen were a little exposed, they've all got 2 wounds with a 3-up save, with a 5-up feel no pain. They're hard as nails. They're in a big, massive squad. Meanwhile, all the little stuff, and his Land Raider Crusader, and his Long Fangs, and his Razorbacks, his Rhinos with 2 Stormbolters, they're all -1 to hit, and they're still in cover, and because of Beyond the Fell-Handed giving them all buffs, they're all re-rolling 1s to hit, and most of the firepower is also in range of the battle leader, at least all the important ones, so they're getting re-roll 1s to wound as well. And it was really, really powerful. It was really, really good, and it just worked. And I had a real time coming back from this, and I managed to get a draw from it. And I underestimated my opponent slightly, and I think that is what a lot of people would do. against a list like this because, oh, it's Space Wolves, oh, they're not that competitive. Well, actually, they have some teeth. You know, they have some real teeth on them. So there you go. If you are playing against Space Wolves, that is something you have to watch out for as a guard player. Because remember, these Know Thy Foe videos are directed at us as guard players. Okay. So, yeah, I hope you guys have found this interesting. I hope it's given you a heads up on what to expect from the Space Puppies. Have any of you guys come across some interesting Space Wolf shenanigans? I know their long fangs can do some really cool stuff. He was like jumping them out and using a stratagem so that they didn't have any negatives to hit. And then if you focus all the firepower on one target, they get to reroll ones, and then you can put a stratagem on them so they can reroll wounds as well. It was really, yeah, long fangs are really tough. Really good at shooting, I mean. So there you go. Is there anything that you guys have come across that I might have missed in this video? Please put it down in the comments. Let's make a little repository video. Know Thy Foe Space Wolves. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.